The October 7 terror attacks by Hamas on Israel are clearly the deadliest assault against Jewish people since the Holocaust, which has shaken the entire world. Till now, thousands of people have been killed and injured in the ongoing conflict that was triggered by Hamas' bloody attack in southern Israel. While the current battle is primarily based in the region of Israel and Palestine, its effects have reverberated far beyond these geographical boundaries. There have been instances of violent protest and demonstrations in support of Palestine that have taken a disturbing turn, manifesting as hatred towards Jewish people. Hello and welcome to the big debate. From carrying out rallies or violent protests to even deadly attacks, a wave of anti-Semitism has been unleashed by left lobby and radical Islamists across the globe, including Europe, the US, Australia, and even in Bharat, where just 2 days after a pro-Hamas rally by Indian Union Muslim League in Kerala featuring a former Hamas terrorist leader, the state's Kochi district was jolted by multiple explosions, killing 3 people and leaving several others injured. According to a recent report by Reuters, the Jewish advocacy group in the United States, the Anti-Defamation League has reported a significant rise in anti-Semitic incidents following the October 7 attack, which compared to the same period last year has risen up by 400% in the last 2 weeks. In New York, home to a large population of Muslims, the past week witnessed a series of demonstrations and rallies. In a traumatic incident, Jewish students at New York's Cooper Union College had to lock themselves inside their school's library for a torturous 20 minutes to escape from an aggressive pro-Palestinian mob, who relentlessly pounded on the doors, spewing hateful anti-Israel slogans. Just imagine the overwhelming fear and distress that must have engulfed them. Those horrifying 20 minutes with no assurance of their life must have felt like an eternity. Similarly, Jewish students at Cornell University of the city were even afraid to sleep in their rooms and leave the campus as they received death and rape threats online, specifically saying that they should be shot and calling Jewish students with names. This sudden surge in anti-Semitic attacks is not limited to the United States. France, home to the largest Jewish community outside Israel and the United States, has also witnessed a concerning rise in attacks against Jews. According to Interior Minister Gerald Damisch, there have been 819 anti-Semitic acts since October 7, double the figure of 436 for the whole of 2022. This surge in anti-Semitism is occurring in a country that has already been grappling with a significant threat of terror attacks by Islamist extremists, with several people being killed in such attacks. France, home to the largest Muslim population in Europe, has been put on a high terror alert. As per the French authorities, a total of 100 bomb threats have been made to French airports since 18th October. This plague has spread across the globe, from Canada, where Prime Minister Justin Trudeau expressed his concern about the rise in anti-Semitism, to Argentina, where Jewish leaders have been advising community members to exercise caution and increase vigilance. In the United Kingdom, London's police force reported a 14-fold increase in anti-Jews incidents since the October 7 attack. The Community Security Trust, which collates reports of anti-Semitism in Britain, said the number of incidents in the last 3 weeks following the attack was the highest for any 3-week period since it started collecting data in 1984. Imagine a scenario: you are already bewildered, clueless, stuck, probably uprooted from home and in a foreign unknown place, stuck in an airplane, vicious, angry mob of people coming at you with blood in their eyes, seeking any mode possible to kill you, your children, your parents, and your loved ones. Passengers of a flight in Russia's Makashkala airport faced a similar fate when a large mob carrying Palestinian flags, placards denouncing Israel, primarily from the Muslim region of Dagestan, stormed the airport in search of Jewish passengers arriving from Israel. The cabin crew showed quick thinking and shut the door immediately before the mob could enter. What if the bloodmongers driven by a so-called cause had actually been able to push through the doors? What if extremists actually would have succeeded in their course and had killed all those people? What if a single soul would not be spared? Shockingly, these people were sent online messages where followers were told that a flight from Tel Aviv would be arriving that evening with Jews in it, and the extremists have had to come and kill them for the sake of Islam. Similar incidents took place in Australia, where at the Sydney Opera House, a group chanted anti-Semitic slogans as thousands of pro-Palestine supporters marched through downtown Sydney. A similar pattern has been witnessed across the globe. Many other nations, including Germany, Brazil, South Africa, the Netherlands, Russia, and China, have witnessed a disturbing surge in anti-Semitic hate crimes. There are also reports of physical attacks on synagogues, Jewish worship house, and other Jewish institutions such as in Portugal and Spain. The impact of this conflict has extended to even Bharat, where various political groups have organized pro-Palestine rallies in the last month. Despite the Indian government's strong condemnation of terrorist attacks by Hamas on Israel, certain anti-Bharat forces have been raising their voices for Gaza while failing to label Hamas as terrorists. For instance, on 8th October, just a day after Hamas launched its bloody battle against Israel, extremists of Aligarh Muslim University took out a march in support of Palestine in Uttar Pradesh, after a latter launched a missile attack in retaliation. The audacious attack left more than 1,400 Israeli citizens dead, many wounded, and over 200 taken hostages by the Hamas terrorists. However, the lobby refrains from even acknowledging the atrocity. Forget the condemning the heinous act of terror. Later, AIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi held a pro-Palestine rally and a solidarity meeting on October 23 in Hyderabad and hailed Gaza in a crowd of over 1,000 protesters. He also called atrocities against Gazans unfair and yet did not utter a word against the terrorist organization Hamas, who's mainly responsible for mass genocide. Only recently, scores of pro-Palestine students from JNU, Jamia Millia Islamia, and Delhi University had gathered in New Delhi to take part in the protest against Israel, although they were detained later. The largest pro-Palestine rally that was organized within the country was the one by the Indian Union Muslim League in Kerala's Kozhikode, drawing tens of thousands of participants. Now one cannot help but question the true nature of these rallies. Are these rallies genuinely in solidarity with the Palestinian people, or are they purposely endorsing Hamas under the guise of supporting Palestine? Anyhow, these self-proclaimed supporters of Palestine, or more aptly, advocates of Hamas, themselves made their intentions abundantly clear when they prominently invited Khalid Mashal, the former head of Hamas. He virtually addressed the rally in Kerala and said that together we will defeat Zionists and we will stand united for Gaza, which is fighting for Al-Aqsa. For radical Islamists, their support for Hamas terrorists runs so deep that they could not stand the fact that Congress leader Shashi Tharoor referred to the Hamas surprise attack on October 7 as a terrorist attack. Shockingly, while reacting to the address by Hamas terrorists at the rally, Kerala CM shamelessly glorified Khalid Mashal as a Palestinian fighter, sinking to a new low of appeasement politics. The leader of a proscribed terror group attends an event right under the nose of the Kerala CM. It is only suspicious why the Kerala government remained unaware of such a questionable event or even permitted it to happen. Anyhow, certain entities are clearly exploiting the situation in Palestine as an excuse to undermine the integrity and unity of our nation. In the meantime, what we are seeing right now in the world is something that has never been seen before in terms of anti-Semitism. With such a constant rise in attacks against Jews, it is evident that Hamas is more than just a terror organization, a toxic terror ideology, a venomous doctrine of hatred spreading through the global landscape. Proof after proof has been furnished showcasing the terror wrought by Hamas. They kill children, women, elderly, or literally anyone who came in their way. And yet what? They are being portrayed as the oppressed. While Israel may eliminate the present Hamas terrorists in Palestine, eradicating the very ideology that drives them to kill people in the name of God seems impossible given the current circumstances. According to a Times of Israel report, the global Jewish population has hit the mark of 15.7 million in 2023, with 46% of them living in Israel. Meanwhile, the US accounts for the second largest Jewish population with around 6.3 million. Other countries with substantive Jewish population include France with 440,000 Jews, Canada with 3,98,000, the United Kingdom with 3,12,000, Argentina with 1,71,000, Russia 1,32,000, Germany 1,25,000, Australia 1,17,200 and Brazil 90,000. Furthermore, some 27,000 Jews live in Muslim majority countries with 14,200 in Turkey, 9,100 in Iran, 2,100 in Morocco, 1,000 in Tunisia and 500 in the United Arab Emirates. With such a significant population in the face of these disturbing developments and the escalating dangers faced by Jewish communities around the globe, particularly from one religious community, the question is, are Jews going to face an even bigger threat in the coming days given the amount of targeted protests and attacks happening around the world currently? Or are we simply waiting for history to repeat itself, subjecting this community to persecution and unrelenting threats once again? The Israel-Hamas war is soon going to reach a month-long duration. However, the grimness and brutality of the war is just growing with each passing day. Despite facing a fierce backlash from the global community, leaders of this terror group sitting in their safe havens have the audacity to openly threaten the complete annihilation of Israel and the Jewish community from the globe. They brazenly call upon the Islamic scholars to issue fatwa, just like every time anyone who challenges their brutal ideology or has differing views, they issue a fatwa to kill them. Just take the instance of Salman Rushdie, an Indian-born British author. When he penned his novel The Satanic Verses in 1988, he couldn't have even in his dreams thought of the outrage that overshadowed the rest of his life. He received immediate and violent backlash from Muslims calling for his killing. Why? Because he dared to present a different idea. And this, in their eyes, was a blasphemous attack on Islam. This continues to haunt him even to this day. It was demonstrated in 2022, 34 years after the publication of his novel, an Islamic extremist stabbed Rushdie. Fortunately, he survived the attack. With all these scenarios in place, it is evident that the road ahead for Jews is far from easy. It is filled with challenges and uncertainties. The operational capacity of these extremists has reached a point where no country can claim to be entirely safe. Their presence is not confined to established terror organizations. They have infiltrated society in the guise of seemingly ordinary individuals. They may operate as sleeper cells capable of carrying out lone wolf attacks, or they engage in the radicalization of teenagers and vulnerable individuals, pushing them towards acts of violence. Hamas terrorists are successfully exploiting information jihad as a sinister tool, flooding social media with heart-wrenching reels and posts of how Gazan children are the exclusive victims of this war. What they choose to ignore is the agony of Israeli children who were either killed or orphaned by Hamas, showing only one side of the conflict. Because the truth is, the October 7 attack by Hamas has unfortunately led to thousands of innocents dead or displaced on both sides. In a world where extremists are bloodthirsty to take lives over trivial matters, the safety and well-being of Israel and Jews have become a matter of great concern. Stay tuned.